Hello and welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's been a minute or two since I uploaded a video. Not too much I can do right now thanks to lockdown. Yay, 2021, COVID, still a thing. So the plan is hopefully that in this, later spring, early summer, we'll be able to start doing things again, which will be fantastic because I think everyone's getting a little tired of this. So today was more or less just getting the old recovery vehicle ready to go for the upcoming project season. So yeah, a lot of people, they'll go out looking for their first project, usually find some on Kijiji or whatnot, but is also a lot of fun to do, which is what me and my group of lunatics, that's probably the best way to describe us. We usually like looking for stuff that's been sitting in a field or someone's told us has been in a garage for 20, 30 years, something like that. So you need a vehicle that's capable of going and getting that stuff from wherever it is. So one thing you're definitely going to want is four-wheel drive, which this little girl has, luckily. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of what we use personally to get vehicles out of fields and yeah. So this is my 1996 Dodge Ram 2500 that you may have seen in my first video where we did the quick overview of projects that we have worked on in the past. As you can see here, she needs a little bit of love, but not as bad as the other side. That's all stuff we're gonna touch up this year, get her all ready for picking up our other projects. Dear goodness, how does that keep getting worse? Dodge rust. I hate Dodge rust. So we've done a rather extensive amount of work to this truck. Fun fact, at the beginning of 2020 when I picked this up, she cost me $200. So people might be wondering, how good is a $200 truck? That is more or less the worst of it. So this vehicle, history on it, which was fairly brief, she was bought by some guy out in, I think it was Mayfield, Ontario, which for any of you who know how far away that is from Toronto or Newmarket area, it's a solid 4.5 hour drive. We had to drive out there 4 times to get this truck. First time we went out there, we were just checking it out, seeing what it was like. It hadn't run in about 3 years, the owner said, after a fuel line blew, and it just sat in his driveway. We showed up, it was dead on arrival, we threw a battery in it, sprayed some quick start at it, backfired pretty badly, launching me out from under the hood. Yeah, never put your face over an intake when you're spraying a quick start into it. Never ends well. Second trip back, we brought a whole bunch of parts with us, tools and whatnot, and decided that we were going to fix it there and then drive it home. So we ended up having to put all new fuel lines in it. We did some work to the brake lines. We put the gas tank back in it. We put a fuel pump back in it. What else did we do to it? That was really about it. Bought a $20 battery we threw in it. Actually, it was a $10 battery. Yeah. The biggest selling feature of this truck that it had for me was these rather minty KO2 tires that were brand new when the thing stopped running. I think the guy said he drove it for maybe 5,000 K before the thing decided it didn't want to run anymore. But the interior is your standard beige, pretty plain Jane, nothing too fancy about it. This truck is, however, an SLT Laramie edition, which you would think would mean this thing would be fully loaded. Read the VIN for it. This truck was supposed to be optioned with a leather interior with that were heated and powered, And the person who originally bought it optioned that out at the dealership. But it is optioned with the Dana 60 front end, Dana 80 rear end, 4-wheel drive. And yeah, the dash, I'll show you here, move my sunglasses, one of the pairs, is not completely destroyed like most second gens. Usually these things are all cracked at Kingdom Come, but this one is in really good shape. Aftermarket trailer brake. I added that from my old Cummins. It's only got 198 on it. When we picked it up, it had 180 on it, so we've driven it quite a lot. This disaster here, yeah, we're going to address that later. We have another factory head unit we're going to put in it, and we're going to see about getting this all fixed, because that's, yeah, it may be the daily / work truck, but I at least like my stuff to look good. So what have we done to this truck in total? Well, we had to put new rockers in it because they were gone. New wheel arch because, well, that one was totally gone. New tailgate that's bed linered that doesn't match the bed liner in the truck because the tailgate that was on it, someone dropped a tree on it. Busted taillight. I'm going to change that later. Fix some more rust. Dodge life. We did the rocker on this side. I think we did a pretty good job. Both front fenders we changed out because, where was it? I think it was from about here to there, was just gone. And we drove it 500 kilometers from Buddy's house like that. That was awesome. And this fender was actually the worst because I think it was from this top ridge all the way across was gone, ending about here. And then this all the way down just didn't exist. Had one of those old man body kits that went from bumper to bumper with the built-in step. So everything behind it was completely rotted out. Other work we had to do to it included both front wheel bearings, because we discovered after we got it back they were non-existent. It needed tie rods, a drag link, a lot of front end maintenance, stuff like that. We put new sway bar links in it just because we could. The old ones weren't bad, but we just changed them anyway. Under the hood, we've done a couple of things. So here's the fire-breathing Magnum 360. Yeah, she's not a diesel, and for that price, you wouldn't get one. $10 interstate battery, and this thing starts flawlessly every time. So we did a distributor cap, we did a rotor, we did new spark plugs, new wires, because, well, it needed it. We had to do a bunch of brake lines, like I said. Add a few extra bends in there for race cooling performance. Yeah, that's what we're going to go with there. We switched out the original rad, which you would have seen in the other video, because it completely exploded upwards. Too much heat, not enough cooling. So we grabbed this rad from a V10 truck, and it was a rather painless conversion. Right here is the original set of mounting points. Wow, my hand's so shaky. It's like -10 right now, guys. I am freezing. I probably should have worn gloves. So yeah, on all these trucks, the 15s, 25s, and 35s, use the exact same rad support here. So you have the bolt holes to bolt in the larger rad. So this is out of a V10 truck, which is also where we grabbed the fuel pump from we put in it. So that probably gives a little extra power. Swap was pretty easy. The top rad hose we had to change out for the V10 rad hose because well, the diameter of the outlet is, well, yeah, the upper rad hose is actually different from the 5.9, 5.2, and the 3.9 liter engines. The lower one, we didn't have to because the diameter was roughly the same, so we get the line on, well, the hose on, I mean. We changed the hoses out anyway because, well, they were original to the truck, over 20 years old, so we figured best not to gamble with that. Gotta get a new air box because there's currently duct tape covering a hole that just busted into it. We put another tranny cooler on it. It already had one. Just let me see if I can see it. It's in behind that plastic cover there. Yeah, right in there. So there was one factory trans cooler in it already, but the transmission was still running warm. So we added a second tranny cooler to it because that's what you do when you don't have enough cooling. You add coolers. We also added a power steering cooler to it as well because why not? And crazy thing for a $200 truck, especially a second gen, the AC works. Yeah, we turned the key, ran it for a couple minutes, and the AC worked. So I'm not complaining there. We also had to change the ignition coil because that failed shortly after we got it home. I think I'd driven it for about a week at that point when it failed. I still have to do something about the original fan shroud. As you'll see, we've got like the width of my hand on either side where it doesn't meet up, so I can't actually mount on the side. This inlet here that's blocked off and the one down there, those are for the built-in tranny cooler on this rad. I didn't want to run that route again because that was part of what we realized why the transmission was running hot, because we had this feeding into the original tranny cooler and then back to the transmission. So what we did was we rerouted it so it went tranny cooler, went transmission to the cooler that's here in behind the rad, and then we ran it to the cooler that's in front of the rad, and then the whole shebang goes back to the transmission, and it runs exactly where we want it, no matter how much weight I put behind this thing. She has towed a fair amount so far, and I must say I'm very happy with her. One thing that some of you may noticed, when we painted the front fenders, we made a mistake. We got the right color, the forest green, which is what the color code on this truck is. We used the wrong finish. This is a matte finish. This is a gloss finish. We're going to be doing some more body work back there, so we're going to have to end up repainting the green at some point. So I'm not sure. I like the matte look, but I also like the gloss look. So let me know in the comments below if you think we should do all the green in the truck in this matte color, or if we should sand the rest of the truck and do it in gloss again. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks to people not having mud flaps, we had to put a windshield in it, which kind of sucked because the one that was in it was mint and it was the original. And then the back window, we changed it out to a single pane and actually added this ladder rack, which has been very helpful. The back window that was in it was one of those sliding styles, and one of the windows fell out and just couldn't get the thing warm again, so I had to bite the bullet and put a solid pane in there. I figure, well, I'm here and everyone seems to like cold starts. I have not started this truck in a week. So, which means that truck hasn't started for a week, and that truck hasn't started for a week, and that truck hasn't started for a week. What the heck is this thing doing here? Why is there an import in my driveway? Alright, cold start time. That easy. None of this nonsense where you're cranking her for like 10, 20 minutes trying to get her to start. And we got that axle dump delete, well, that axle dump exhaust. Oh yeah, and the fuel gauge doesn't work. It's just always stuck at just below half. Makes life fun. Luckily the trip meter works, so that is what I use primarily to gauge how far I can go. Makes life much more interesting. And wow, this camera sucks. So what makes a good, well, project recovery vehicle? 1, ladder racks. 2, 8-foot bed. You can fit just about anything you want in this thing. We have put a Volkswagen Bug on the back of a truck like this. Not this one. We haven't had a chance to try that yet, although the dents would say otherwise. But yeah, we'll see if we're going to do that. 4-wheel drive's a big one. You want some ground clearance. It's good meaty tires for getting in and out of those fields, because, you know, people love to just leaving their classic cars in fields, making them almost impossible to get out if you have a 2-wheel drive. So yeah, we're going to have some fun with that. What else do you need? Ratchet straps. Lots of them. We have ones ranging from, I think these were 4,000 pounds. We got one that's good for 1,000. Your bungee cords come along because, you know, they're always stuck and you got to winch off something. Your basic fluids, you want to have some coolant, oil with you. Make sure it's all stuff for your tow rig, because old truck problems. You will always need oil, you will always need coolant. No matter what you do to it, these things always run out. The pinnacle of 80s and 90s security, the club. This is also good for road rage situations. Floor mats, because you don't want to wreck your carpet more than it is. You always got to have your first aid kit and your roadside kit. Fire extinguisher, trailer hitch, various trim bits from the truck. I got to put those back on at some point. Wow, I'm shaking so much. And then, what I also like to bring with me, tools. Torque wrench, snow brushes, air chuck, pry bar, snap ring pliers, various socket adapters, my almost 300 piece tool set. I am not sponsored by Stanley or anyone like that, but I do love these kits. They're great. More wrenches, and then your standard fix anything kit. You have your well, trailer adapter, small jerry can, ball joint kit, spare hard line for the truck, soft fuel line for the truck, wiring, gas cap, funnel, rag, safety glasses, tire patch kit back there. I've got a rag cap in there, another horn, actually I have to install that, and tires for another project. Well, this has been my brief, well, not so brief overview of the channel's tow vehicle. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and we will see you again when we're able to start doing some more projects, and you will see this towing some rather interesting vehicles this year. Thank you, and see you tune in later.